Source: Redo the Healer. Hi guys, and welcome back to AniRecapz. Subscribe for part 2 and more new quality contents. One day, a young protagonist named Kiaru hears a voice inside his head directing him to a star spirit who grants him the housing eye power to see all creation. In a previous life, MC was a healing magician, but his power forced him to see the memories of those he healed. He was captured, abused, and forced to heal his captors in battle. In secret, he grew stronger, absorbing the experiences of his abusers, and learned to use healing magic in unconventional ways. Eventually, he escaped, defeated a demon lord, and used her philosopher's stone to heal the world to 4 years in the past. With his memories returned, MC swears revenge on his main abuser, Princess Flare of Jurel Kingdom. Flare, who has no memory of these events, senses his awakening and declares him the recovery hero. MC had tons of fun with all the maids in the royal household in order to steal their experience. He regenerates the amputated arm of grateful swordswoman Kureha, but pretends to pass out. Flare callously orders the court magician to gain control of MC, no matter how torturous the method. Confirming Flare is still as cruel as she was previously, MC begins planning his revenge. Pretending to be afraid of absorbing painful memories, MC swears never to heal again, and pretends to allow Flare to imprison and get him addict to drugs, even allowing himself to be wrecked to further fool her. Flare begins forcing MC to heal injured heroes, but MC secretly steals magical abilities from them. MC uses his stolen abilities to escape and disguise himself as Leonard, Flare's imperial commander, and once alone with Flare, heals away her ability to use magic, rendering her defenseless. After repeatedly breaking then healing her fingers, MC wrecks Flare before he heals her in order to alter her appearance and memories. After healing a dead bodyguard's face to look like Flare, MC frames Leonard before he escapes with the real Flare. MC decides to target his other abusers, Bullet and Blade, before seeking out the demon lord he previously defeated to find out what she had been trying to protect when she died. With Flare now an amnesiac, MC renames her Freya, convinces her she is his servant and lover, while he changes his face and takes the hero name Kiarga the Healer, leaving his weak name MC behind. MC decides he and Freya must leave the city. However, he also learns that Norn, Flare's younger, smarter, and more sadistic sister, is returning to the city, and he is determined to avoid her. MC has a nightmare of his previous life. Every night, Flare would force him to pleasure her. Then the sword heroine, Blade, would beat him for touching Flare. They later arrive at Lanarita, a lawless city dominated by criminals who prey on the poor. With Halcyon Eye, MC detects the town's water is contaminated, making whoever drinks it sick. Using his own immunity to poisons, MC creates a cure with his blood and sells it to a merchant, promising to continue making more in exchange for half the profits. He next visits a slave trader and purchases a female ice wolf demi-human, noting that her rage has kept her conscious despite being infected, and is interested in what will happen once she gets revenge against whoever she hates so much. As MC heals Setsuna, the latter's memories reveal she and other Ice Wolf tribe members had attempted to stop Jurel mercenaries from discovering her village only to be easily overpowered. The dying demi-humans told the mercenaries of their village, and Setsuna would then be sold off to a slave trader. Setsuna wakes up and discovers her ailment was cured. Although thankful, Setsuna attacks MC out of an obligation to be elsewhere only to be easily subdued. MC reveals his knowledge of her past, and that Setsuna had reached a plateau in terms of her strength. However, MC adds that as a hero, he is able to raise the limits of her current strength, and offers this to her in exchange for her true name. Knowing full well she would become his slave upon revealing it, Setsuna resolves to do so if it means saving her village. The two haves fun. MC, Freya, and Setsuna arrive atop a cliff facing the Ice Wolf village and discover soldiers had already arrived abusing their captives. Before Setsuna can rush in, MC tells her this was meant to draw out the demi-human warriors, and convinces her to wait until he thins out the enemy forces. Once battle ignites between the kingdom and demi-humans, MC dons a mask and announces himself as the sword hero before charging in. With his heal ability, he replicates ActionToon's sword techniques when killing some soldiers. Before a larger group of soldiers can attack MC, Freya casts Falling Star that does away with the crowd. With the enemy numbers reduced, MC signals Setsuna to indulge in killing the survivors with the rest of her tribe. After the battle, MC and Setsuna discover the source of the poisoned water was a corpse of a monster placed in Lanarida's water source by demi-humans. MC offers to either increase the poison's potency or turn the river into medicine. Setsuna chooses the latter, not wanting those uninvolved to be harmed. During another round of fun, she completely offers herself to MC for aiding her revenge and saving her tribe, before telling him her true name. Afterwards, MC decides there were many other things for him to do, as he has only started getting revenge. At Jorel Kingdom, the king reprimands Renard for allowing Flare to die, but offers him a final chance to restore his reputation. Capture MC using any means necessary. Renard is ecstatic to get revenge, and Norn, standing beside the king, places her hand on the latter's shoulder. At Jorel Kingdom, AniRecapz overhears that an alleged hero of the sword had eliminated a troop of soldiers using the Clyrit sword technique, which bothers her. After MC, they make way to Lanarida. They subdue a man on the street who confronts them, and kill him after learning he was a deserting soldier from the Ice Wolf village. Upon meeting the merchant, the latter summons the presence of several men to incite MC to give the recipe of the healing potion. Not wanting blood spilt over something trivial, MC sells him the recipe for 500 gold pieces. On the way out, he reveals to Setsuna and Freya that he withheld the fact that the potion needed antibodies for himself to be effective, and that the illness would soon subside from the town, effectively putting the merchant at a loss of gold. MC is then ambushed by Kureha, who manages to graze his cheek. Kureha declares him the felon who attacked the army protecting the Ice Wolf Clan village, and that she would not allow him to disgrace the Clyrit family. Freya and Setsuna attempt to tell the truth of what happened, but Kureha assumes them to be brainwashed. Freya casts a fireball at her, but Kureha manages to evade it and incapacitate her with her scabbard. Provoked over the injuring of his property, MC declares he has no choice but to break Kureha. During their duel, MC manages to shatter her sword through alchemical corrosion, but Kureha is able to keep him at bay after drawing another. MC tosses a flask while throwing several knives at her, which she manages to cut. The spilt aphrodisiac causes Kureha becomes heavily aroused, and she stabs her leg to overcome the effect. She manages to lop off MC's right arm, but MC had expected this. He quickly regenerates his lost limb, and with it, uses heal on Kureha to show her memories of the kingdom's abuse of demi-humans, causing her to faint. Kureha wakes up in an inn, refusing to believe the Jorel Kingdom would commit the crimes she saw in her visions, even more so after MC reveals himself as the healing hero. In response, Freya, adopting Flare's appearance, tells Kureha she faked her death as part of a joint effort with MC to expose the dark nature of the kingdom, and that they had also protected the village from the kingdom's soldiers. Kureha accepts that she had been fighting the wrong side and decides to rethink what justice truly meant. Referring back to when MC healed her arm, she reaffirms her promise to assist him. She then succumbs to the effects of the aphrodisiac and had fun with MC. Meanwhile, Renard and his forces approach Alban village, the former eager to exact revenge. MC and his companions are alerted outside to see that Jorel knights have rounded up the villagers from MC's village in an attempt to draw him out. Noticing that Anna is not among them, MC disguises himself as one of the soldiers, and meets with the knight to gather information. After giving the knight an invitation for Renard to meet up with him, MC learns from him that the captain of the knights, Renard, had publicly killed Anna, MC's childhood friend, in front of the other villagers. Once Renard and his squad meet up with the disguised MC, the latter reveals himself. Renard furiously attempts to draw his sword, but paralyzing gas immobilizes him and his unit. Through his heal ability, MC is able to witness to exact circumstances of Anna's death, which aggravates him even further. MC then transforms him into a woman and declares that he will make him suffer the way Anna did. Renard mockingly revels in recounting the experience, but his joy turns to horror. MC states that Renard inflicts pain on others simply because he doesn't felt it himself. He then tells Renard to do so as his brainwashed men begin ravaging him. To ensure Renard's demise, MC sets the building on fire. MC rushes to his home village to help Anna, but she dies even as he repeatedly tries to heal her. He returns to the inn to vent his anger with rough fun with Setsuna and Freya, and decides this would be the last time he will shed tears. At Jorel Castle, Norn is displeased to hear that Renard has gone missing, so she steps on her servant John to vent and decides to execute the villagers. She contemplates getting Blade's help, but is put off when she notes her overall nature. Back at the inn, Correa tells MC that the villagers have been placed in the Coliseum, a fortified arena with 2 magic barriers that siphon stamina and energy. She questions his resolve to save the villagers despite the poor odds, and MC insists, claiming that doing so would prevent more victims of the Jorel Kingdom. Correa also informs that Norn has returned from her studies, which triggers MC and Frida. A flashback to the previous timeline reveals Norn was able to figure out MC had regained his sanity during captivity. In exchange for keeping her mouth shut, she had MC repeat the fun act he performed on Flare. MC regards her as the one person able to kill him in this world and decides not to target her until she has done something to him. MC blends in with the spectators at the Coliseum, having made preparations to save the villagers. Before the execution starts, MC grabs the attention of everyone present by revealing himself. This is all for today. We'll soon make a part 2, so stay tuned and hit subscribe to our channel. Bye.